Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Thriving Relationships Show. I am Christine Eartheart, your host and the founder of the Center for Thriving Relationships. And I am so grateful you are here and to get to support you in experiencing more love, connection, and understanding in your relationships. And if you are in a romantic relationship, or really a relationship of any kind, you've probably noticed that beyond what somebody says or does, you can feel their energy. Sometimes that is an inspiring, elevating, relaxing thing. Other times, maybe it feels confusing, overwhelming. You can feel the tension and the conflict in the energy between you. So most researchers agree that communication is more than 70% nonverbal. So there is a lot more happening beyond what we say and do. And if you've wondered, what is this energy and how do we learn to manage and navigate it in a way that is strengthening, helpful, calming, and connecting for ourselves and for the well-being of our relationships, you are in the right place. And I am so excited and honored to introduce you to today's guest, a teacher and practitioner of Tai Chi for over 20 years. And not only is he so incredibly intelligent, wise, insightful, and have a depth of knowledge to share with you today, you will also find that he is incredibly warm and kind, empathetic, and loves to play. So you are in for a treat today. And I'm so excited to introduce you to Jamie Alonge, who comes to us from LA today. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to be here.
Oh, such a joy. So you are very tuned into this world of energy and chi. So let's start there, especially for anyone who's listening and they're wondering what exactly is energy? Maybe they've heard about it. They aren't quite sure what it is. In your own words, what is energy? What is chi? How does it impact us?
It's that life force that flows through our body. I like to say that it's like if there was a lifeless body, you couldn't just put air into it or give it some food and it would just magically wake up. It has to have some electricity. And that's our energy. That's that energy that flows through our body. Just simply put.
That is a great analogy. And what does it look like in somebody when maybe they have a lot of energy or something has a lot of energy, chi, and maybe one doesn't?
Oh, that's a good point. Good question. Yeah, I feel like it's all about balance. It's all about circulating your energy, right? Of course, we're up sometimes and we're down sometimes, but you know, those times where you are just in the zone and you're just feeling grounded and clear and have a lot of clarity. That's ultimately what we aim for, I think, in life, and especially in Tai Chi. And so by doing certain practices, it moves stagnant energy or can boost your energy or can calm your energy down, you know, depending on what you need to return to that state of balance or homeostasis, you know, for more of a medical term. That's the ultimate goal, is just a nice balance.
And can you share more about your journey? So what got you into doing this work and focusing so much on Tai Chi and this awareness of energy and cultivating it, and how has it transformed your life?
Yeah, well, I started Tai Chi in my early 20s and really I wanted something that was a martial art that had some spiritual aspects to it, because I felt like I was lacking spirituality at the time, and just dove in for about 5 years and competed in tournaments and really just, you know, learned a lot of just full immersion into the world of Tai Chi, and then moved back home and to where I'm from here in LA. And the Tai Chi kind of kept coming and going. It was there in the background. I always thought I would dive in deeper when I got older. And then I started to get injuries through my line of work at the time, and occurred a lot of injuries, and really realized that I should do something holistic about them. And that's when I really jumped back into Qigong and Tai Chi to begin to heal. I had a broken broken foot and a stretched fracture on another foot. And I had back problems and knee problems and shoulder problems and extreme tightness. And I was, in my 30s and early 40s, feeling like I was 20 years or more older. Couldn't do a lot of the activities that my wife likes to do, and was really just too young to be feeling so broken down. And the Tai Chi really worked fast on a lot of the issues, and the Qigong to just heal them. I mean, it's a healing art form. It's for health and longevity. And I like to, relate it to other aspects of life, but it is a martial art and a movement and breath Qigong, a movement and breath-based medical healing art, to strengthen the body, strengthen the organs. And so I was just pretty amazed at how fast I got back a lot of my ailments. And it might seem not like a big deal to you to say that I'm pain-free, but for me, it's amazing to be able to say that I am pain-free at my age, when there was so much that I had to give up doing, and, felt a lot of frustration and even shame because of it, not being able to keep up with my wife, who's very active, and through the Tai Chi, I've been able to put away all of my inflammation pills and ointments and ice wraps and everything else. And then I got the opportunity I was teaching it sort of sporadically at a senior living facility and privately. But then I got the opportunity to work inside of a county program for Los Angeles County that recognizes people that are incarcerated with a mental illness, and it pulls them out of jail into homes where they begin returning to competency through all sorts of programs, get medically regulated and therapy, as well as other holistic offerings, including Tai Chi. They hadn't had it before, but it was like an experiment with me, really. And so I've done that for the last 3 years, working inside of that community, and with folks with pretty much schizophrenia and bipolar and disorders. And that's what I've done for the last 3 years. And it's just been incredibly rewarding, especially because I have a family member that suffers from that. And just really has taught me a lot about the struggles that people go through, and ultimately how to return to being somewhat more calm, and how the simple tools that people do that maybe don't have those type of disorders, they work for people that do have those type of disorders, like breathing techniques and meditation and Tai Chi, Qigong, even art therapy and all these sort of things. They really help all walks of life out. And so it's been nice to just immerse myself in this world of calming down the anxieties and everything else. And very rewarding, very rewarding.
Oh, thank you so much for your incredible service to humanity and to this world. And I really love what you're saying, just the universality of it. I just love finding those things that it's like, no matter our background, that kind of brings us in our shared humanity. And how incredible that you found this healing art that is so powerful, no matter where we are in our life or where we've come from. And just so grateful for all the ripples of healing that you have spread. And wow, your journey of all of these different physical challenges that you experience, it's kind of undeniable that these practices really work. So congratulations, and what an inspiration. I love people that are just, living, breathing kind of examples that helps other people see what's really possible and available to them. And so you experience a lot of physical transformation. I know you shared that you experienced also this emotional kind of mental, spiritual transformation. So what have you noticed from doing these different practices? How has it changed, your relationship? So you are married. You have a baby on the way. Congratulations! So excited! Really, really soon.
Yes, about 6 weeks away. Today, I think we are 6 weeks and counting.
Oh,
Yes, very
so
exciting.
fun. Yeah, just yeah, such an exciting time. So how has this prepared you? How has it changed you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, kind of that realm of things?
It's just, I'd say it's given me a lot more patience. You know, one of the foundational principles of Tai Chi is a word that we've heard before, but in the Tai Chi context, it's called relax. And relaxation is a huge thing in Tai Chi. A teacher will always be like, no, relax more, you're not relaxed. And so, yes, often we're not relaxed. Relaxing in Tai Chi and Qigong, it has a specific meaning, and it means no tension in your body and your mind. And it's a loosening, a softening, an opening of the connective tissue throughout your body, and yet not being completely limp either, not just like being mush. It just means holding yourself in a way that's prepared and ready and alert, but still calm, like a baseball player that's standing at the plate, that's just kind of waiting for that pitch. That is the definition of relaxed, just ready, alert, but calm and without tension. And the thing about that is that we're often not that way. And it's not hard to go from being not relaxed to relaxed. All you have to do is activate. It's you just have to activate relaxation by telling yourself relax, just like you would do if somebody said, take a deep breath, and then you take a deep breath and then it starts to work. So you just have to tell yourself relax in that moment when you're not relaxed, and then you start to become, then whatever you need to do to relax will happen naturally. You'll drop your shoulders, you'll take that breath, you'll let go of that frustration that you're having with your partner or whatever, right? That you see yourself starting to get plugged in about an issue. If you can just tell yourself the old Tai Chi principle, relax in that moment. This is where I've been applying it to my relationships and to my life. Yes, when we are moving in a certain way, we're trying to relax our body. But the beauty of Tai Chi is that it's made up of these foundational principles that can be applied to anything. Relaxing when our partner says something we don't like, or is doing something that they often do that we don't like. Rather than just jumping right in, we can just tell ourselves to relax and begin to activate that relaxation. And we can just have that little break from our automatic reaction to things to perhaps come from a relaxed state of mind, instead of being so just plugged in to whatever's happening. Just relax. It's about softening. It's about being a little softer. The concept is that softness overcomes hardness. And this is a major principle in Tai Chi. That's why everything looks so soft, because we're training our body to become soft. We have so much tension. We have chronic pain. Maybe we have mental tension. And the way to overcome it is by softening it, softening our body. And this actually is a strong, people think that being soft is a weakness, but it's not. Water in a storm definitely is not weak. Water can be strong. So relaxing, becoming a little bit more soft, is just becoming a little bit more easygoing in relationships, is something that I've been applying towards my relationship with my wife, and just in my life with other people a lot.
Jamie, this is so good, because that relaxed state, I find emotional connection happens, in our hearts so much more readily, and to kind of drop from the mind into our hearts, I find it's like a slowing down and a relaxing. We come then from an entirely different place. And so, I just adore what you're saying right now, and hearing that it's been such a part of your journey and how you describe it from your unique perspective. And that quote, so softening, it was like softening.
Softness overcomes hardness.
Softness overcomes hardness. So those who are tuning in, just imagine a moment, of tension or disconnection between you and another person, your partner or another loved one. And just like recall that for a moment, right? To see like, how is your body? Maybe how is your energy in that moment? And yeah, it's like what happens when we just soften, and that's what really overcomes like that rigidity, inside of ourselves, limiting our ability to connect, and any kind of barrier. So beautifully put. Yeah. Please share more. I think this is really, really powerful. I just want to like underscore this, because when we're in a relaxed state, I think it totally transforms how we show up.
Yeah, it makes me think of when we're in an argument and when you finally get to that point where you're ready to apologize, what are you doing? You're softening your perspective. At the end of the day, it all comes down when all the argument's done or whatever, and you're ready to mend. I'm sorry, I should have, you're being soft in that moment.
Yes, so true. So true. And so in Tai Chi, it's like this activate. I love that, like activating relaxation. So it's kind of like what you're suggesting is that it's like available to us and we just need to call upon it. And so one thing I hear you saying is to actually call upon it by saying the word, internally, externally, like, relax, kind of signaling to our body or to our energy to go into that space. Anything else that people can do in that moment when we notice like, oh, I've gone into hardness and rigidity, I'm kind of tense, I want to soften.
I love the breath. Everybody knows the breath, and the breath is a tool for us to use. It's a nice tool, and I will often just go like really loudly, just take that breath out. It's just so simple, but I will do it often. Just let that almost like a loud, obnoxious breath out. I don't want to do it too loud and distort the microphone here.
Let's do it. I'll do it with you.
But yeah, it's a Qigong principle. Actually, in Qigong, there's a meditation called the 6 healing sounds. And they're sounds that are breath-like sounds. And the sound to release frustration just sounds like shh.
Everyone try this with us. So it's shh. Are we just putting our shh?
Yeah, you can take it to that next level and put that tongue to the roof of the mouth, but it's really just a shush, you're like shushing something, but that releases a certain vibration in a specific organ that might be related to frustration, specifically the liver. And, when it comes to anxiety, I'll just go, which is just like a sigh, and it's the who sound. Again, releasing anxiety, but it almost doesn't even matter. It's just a long deep breath when you need to just make a long deep sigh, a long deep breath out. Some people like to release the heart and they go ha, because the ha sound is related to the heart. So will clear that heart, and you can feel it when your mind goes into your heart and then you make the heart sound ha. So I love using the breath just instantly.
I can totally feel that in my heart.
Yeah, I mean, there's such basic things that we already do, but then if you can do them consciously when you need them, it's great.
It's the best. Thanks for letting us play along with you. So I have another question around this, because I think it's just so important. You already spoke to this notion that, people think of softness as weakness. And so anybody out there that's still like, wait, really? Do I want to soften? Can you give us any examples? Like, what would be an example of a time that someone might think, I need to be hard and this is going to accomplish more, especially in our relationships, when actually it's very inefficient and ineffective. And instead, it's like that softening is what allows us to really win and get powerful results is actually from the softening and the relaxing. So any examples of you in your own life or with a client or just a general example?
That's great. Two things. Literally in the Tai Chi world, because it's a martial art, when you get to the higher levels of Tai Chi, you're standing toe to toe with another person and touching each other and trying to knock each other off balance. It's a game that we play to take your Tai Chi to the next level. Tai Chi is not just waving your hands around the air. It's a martial art. You just practice on that first level to understand the moves, and then you start to have a person in front of you. And so it's called push hands is the name of this next training. Push hands is part of Tai Chi. And so I go to the park here, a nice park where there's a lot of teachers and we all play push hands with each other. And they're very, very good at their skill levels. Many people over 30 years and masters in their 70s. Every time I try to use too much force and try to use my muscle on one of these people that is highly leveled, I'm the one getting pushed off balance. Every single time I try to use my force, it blows my mind because we're wired to think that you have to do so much more and use that force. And the saying, and it's proven in the Tai Chi push hands practice, that who's ever softer, you already know they're going to win. As soon as you touch that other person and you feel how they almost don't even feel like they're there, you just say to yourself, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. As soon as you can feel them in front of you and you can see where they're holding their tension, oh yeah, I'm feeling a lot of pressure coming from his shoulder, then you could then use that tension against that person. They are actually weaker when they're using more force. And I'm describing it here as a concept, but when you're there toe to toe, you feel it. And every time I use my own force against me. And this is in the world of Tai Chi. But just in the world of life, if you're banging your head up against the wall and you are not making headway, it is time to, soften up and look for another opening, right? Instead of just trying to force the situation. It could be for anything. I recently was having some blocks in something technical, and I was just like, but I want to do it this way. Why can't I do it this way? I should be able to do it this way. And it wasn't supposed to be, and I had to go another way. I had to just soften up, back up, and steer into the other direction on a way that I just didn't want to do. And finally, when I accepted that, okay, fine, I just can't, I got to do it, like I just flew ahead, and it was just such a good path for me to take. And so, yeah, I think, that softness is just can be related physically, but also really towards trying not to force the issue. If you have to force something, it's probably not the natural way. In Tai Chi, it's called the Tao, means the natural way, nature's natural way. Things evolve, things grow, and then they die, and then they grow again. And so you try to just, in a way, just follow the natural way of things. We can't really control too much. So.
Oh, Jamie, it's like revelatory. This is really such a key takeaway, I think, for people, this softening, relaxing. I love what you're sharing about when people gather, that there's just this known, experience that whoever's the softest, these masters, these very strong, I'm sure very physically strong, people, that whoever's the softest is actually going to win and achieve more. And I think it's in jujitsu, there's a saying like yield to win.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that, and I've heard that connected to relationships before. It really stuck with me because it's like that yielding, that allowing, that softening, that opening actually allows us to then co-create, right? Win-win solutions that work for everyone, or in our own lives, rather than resisting, forcing. It's like when we soften and open, creative solutions, whether it's with tech or something else, reveal themselves to us that we just wouldn't even see if we're just like, no, it has to be this. So if with our partner, we're like, no, it has to be my way, we're going to really miss out on something much better.
Yeah, if you think about if you're the one losing your temper and the other person is just has it together and they're calm, I mean, how does that make you feel? You're just like, oh, I'm sitting here yelling and they're just sort of being calm and they're having it together. Who's the one who's really, lost their control? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Anything else? Yeah, please keep going.
that's
This is a common dynamic in relationships, especially if people don't feel heard. Sometimes we find it becomes two monologues where each person is kind of turning up the volume even more, using more words or stronger words or more, louder, whatever it might be. And so, so what do you find this dynamic? What were you just going to say?
Yeah, that actually used to be an issue for me. I come from a family, you would never guess it, from hearing my voice right now, but I come from a family of yellers, of people of, arguing matches, right? And it's not something that I do often, but it's still there, when the occasion arises. And that is something that I really wanted to start working on and for myself when I started to see that, okay, when the volume gets turned up, I turn into a yeller and started to realize that, wow, I used to hear my grandma yelling at my grandpa and on down all the time. And that sort of issue, it took a long time for me. It's not something that, some things are instant, right? In life, you can have a Zen moment, but that is definitely a muscle that needs to get practiced. You're going to get triggered, and it's definitely something that I've come a long way on. And the reason why I feel is another Tai Chi principle called, we've all heard this word, intention. It's an intention of mine not to be a yeller. I don't want to be a yeller. I don't want that. I don't like that. I don't like feeling that way, out of control. And so it's, intention just means being focused, having an intention instead of just letting whatever happen. You have your goal. When you have an intention, everything does, including your body, line up to go in that direction. If you're not focused, then you might just get blown this way or that way. But if you have your intention, they say where the mind goes, the energy flows, or the chi flows. It's so true. I'll relate it to Tai Chi, and then I'll relate it to relationships. When I'm standing toe to toe with somebody playing our push hands game, if my mind isn't heavily focused on their body and trying to search for their force that they're using and really trying to find where their center and their core is so that I can, move them. If my mind is elsewhere and I'm just maybe looking off into the distance, it's just not going to happen. But when my mind is very very intentional about where they are and searching, everything changes. All of my energy changes, and I have much more chances of moving that person that's in front of me. And I've applied this to my life and my relationship with my wife because she comes from a lot of trauma. And the last thing that I want to do is yell at my wife, who's already been through so much. And so this is one of the first things I said for myself right in the beginning when she started to share with me all that she's been through. I wasn't as good as I am 8 years later now with my wife. But it was just an intention that I set that, hey, I'm going to recognize when I do this and just do what I can to to relax and to just not do that. And so I've been applying it, and I'm getting really good at it, but it's taken a long time. But intention, having that intention is the first step, I think.
Thank you so much for sharing a bit of your own journey. And I just love how you tie it to your practice, in Tai Chi, also Qigong. I know that when the more focused you are, clear about your intent, so really present, how that is reflected, in that relationship with another, and then with your wife, that being clear on what you want to transform, the chances of that actually transforming goes up exponentially. And I just so honor you for your incredible, internal work you've done that just spills over. And yes, you radiate so much love and kindness. And of course, we all experience this full range of emotions, and there's nothing like our closest relationships to bring these old patterns to the surface, where we get to bring them out to the light of love and kind of consciously work with them. So I so appreciate you sharing that about your own journey. And she's so lucky to have you there as a source of healing, and that you're so intentional about wanting to show up in a healing way. So yes, everyone who's tuning in, intention, it is so powerful. So I love these different Tai Chi principles that we're exploring. So we've got relaxing, really celebrating balance, living with greater intention, so much good stuff that you're sharing. And
Accepting other people, they're good, they're bad, but sometimes agreeing to disagree and moving on.
Yeah, for sure. Then we can learn from each other. And that would be more forcing, right? If we're trying to get somebody to see it how we see it. Yeah. So how about, we are on the Thriving Relationships show right now, and I'm curious, what is a thriving relationship to you? What does that mean to you? There's no wrong answer.
Yeah, I like that term. You're either growing apart or you're growing together. I like that. You're going in a direction, and I think thriving is growing together, growing in the same direction. Because it's going to happen. Things are going to change, and hopefully I look at it like a vine, like two vines that are just intercrossing like a DNA strand. You're going up, and you're just weaving around one another, but you're headed in that same direction, growing, learning, because I just like that term, growing apart or together. So thrive is a great word. Hopefully we're thriving together in the right direction, same direction.
Yeah, that is a great description. And so for couples that are out there and they're like, we're growing apart, any words of wisdom you have based on your personal experience with Tai Chi, otherwise, kind of to make that shift away from growing apart and back towards really growing together?
Well, let's take it back to balance and connection. In Tai Chi, we don't block. We try to connect. We try to connect. We're not just trying to push something away. We're trying to really feel into the other person, connect. And of course, it takes both people. But I like the term that there is no balance, there is only balancing. Like a scale, as soon as you set something on one side of the scale, the other side is going to go up. And so you got to put it on the other side, and you're just constantly balancing. It's a dance. So if you're noticing that something's out of balance, that's fine. That happens. It's just that dance. It's like the tightrope person walking. They have that big stick, and they're lifting it up left and right, and they're just finding their balance to get to the other side. It's okay. It doesn't have to be everything's perfect all the time. That's not life. So it's about connecting and recognizing when things are out of balance, and just making that shift. If you haven't been connected for a while, what can you do to connect? If things have drifted apart, what can you do? What are your similarities that you both enjoy, your commonalities? Maybe you need some time together to go to that concert, to that old band that you used to love together, to put things back in perspective. Balancing. Don't feel that it always just has to be balanced, because that's not the way life works. So just recognizing and then making that shift, making that adjustment, bring things back, bring it back into balance.
So perceptive. And I think it's a really important thing for people. When we're working with couples, we're like, the aim is not to like get to thriving and then you're permanently there. It's like, it's just the journey. It's not that we're like, okay, I'm balanced now. Great. It's so permission giving and so full of acceptance and grace and self-compassion. I think what you're really saying. And so in relationships, we found it's like, oh, we get to thriving and then, you're back in some sort of conflict or power struggle or just the humanness, right? We're tired or hungry or anxious, and then it just takes a recommitting, and then learning, growing, and kind of moving back into thriving. And so our aim is to move from out of balance back into balance more and more readily, to notice it more quickly. And conflict is growth wanting to happen anyway. So, I imagine you found, right, when we get out of balance, the journey back into balance also has like nuggets of wisdom in there for us. So if you're in your relationship right now and you're feeling out of balance, I love this kind of perspective, or disconnected in some way. It really is just like, oh, let's kind of recommit to coming back into balance and then getting curious of what would bring us back into connection right now. And you haven't failed in any way. And it's also not the dead end. I think for a lot of couples, when they get to a place of being out of balance or disconnected or that growing apart, it just seems like we're permanently there, rather than that's an expected part of long-term love, is that we have chapters of maybe growing apart, and it's just an invitation to kind of reconnect and grow together. So just the wisdom you're sharing is so important. I can't thank you enough for.
And you as well. That's some good stuff right there.
Thanks so much. This great human team. So are there any other principles of Tai Chi or Qigong that you found to really tie into relationships that you're inspired to share about?
Going with the flow.
Let's talk about that.
We all have said that before, going with the flow. Again, it refers to a connection, connecting. Like a surfer on a wave, the surfer is riding a big wave and got to connect. It's flowing, but you're not just getting tumbled. You're connecting to life, connecting to the good and the bad. Rather than making the bad mean something horrible, just being with it, staying connected, and riding the wave. And let's say that wave does, put you under. Let's say you do crash on whichever wave you're on. When you begin to resist, and now you're the surfer and you've been plummeted by the wave, if you're just trying to swim right back up to the top right away, well, that wave is stronger than you, and you're just going to keep on plummeting, and it's going to take you longer to get back on top. So again, if you've crashed, just relax, let go, and loosen up, and see where it's going to take you, because that lack of resistance will get you back on top faster. Another aspect to going with the flow, when that surfer falls off the wave, if they can when they relax their body a lot more, then that wave passes and they can shoot back up to the top. But if resistance, if you're going against the flow, just not a good look.
That's a wonderful analogy. Yes, that's a great takeaway. Thanks for sharing that. It's so easy to feel that in my body, just even tuning into that, like, relax, let go. It's like the surrender, and that's what's going to get us back in the flow.
Yes, yes. I think people think that life is always supposed to be good, or you're wanting it to be good. I think we all do that, and it just doesn't work that way. This yin yang symbol behind me, that we've all seen, it has that look for a reason. It's not just all one color all the time. And even when it is that one color, there's that little dot inside it just to remind you that everything isn't 100% perfect now, and that next cycle is coming. And the opposite, when things are down, it's important to remember that things are going to go back up, or perhaps there's always a bright side, to look at through a different lens, that maybe, yes, things aren't so great, but there's got to be some sort of bright message in it. And, I think the more you can just take things in stride, that, okay, this is the down time, or, okay, great, this is an up time. But I think it's important for people to just remember that when things are going down, when things are not so great, to try to find that little bright spot that's in that, something positive. You always can find some sort of positive interpretation. And it's just the way life is. And if you can accept that, then you can also remember that things are going to change. They're going to go back up. And even when you're on top, also just, don't be skeptical, but just keep it in perspective that things are also going to change from there as well. And again, bringing us back to just a little bit more balanced, so that we just don't, lose our minds when things aren't going too good for us. Just trying to stay balanced.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and it's all so connected in like trying to stay balanced, and in that kind of just going with the flow when things are going really wonderfully, really flowing with that, like allowing that. And then when things it's a more challenging time, just kind of allowing that, trusting that it's going to come back into balance. So all these different principles that you've kind of woven together is demonstrated so beautifully by that. And I say yin yang, sometimes it's yin yang.
Yeah, yin yang, I don't speak Chinese. I think they have it more of a yang, but yin yang is fine. The yin and the yang, together and separate, but one.
Yes. Together and separate, but one.
Yeah, there's two, but they're one. It's one as a whole, but then there's two separates. And so they need each other. They relate to each other. They correlate to each other. And you can't have one without the other. Very important.
Well, that's a great analogy for relationships right there. And I love learning new things and how to pronounce things. Names of things are so important to fully honor them. So how can people that are wanting to learn more about these practices? So certainly we want to let people know where they can find about you specifically. So let's go ahead and share those. We'll post them below as well. But where can people follow along and actually see? Because if you're not watching this visually, you definitely want to see Jamie actually demonstrate some of the Tai Chi Qigong moves. It is so beautiful and captivating to really witness. I feel better just looking at what you share, and of course, then playing along feels even better. But even if you just watch, you'll feel better. So where can they find you?
Well, I like the way that you just said playing along, because in Tai Chi, we actually say that we play Tai Chi instead of practice Tai Chi. And it gives it a whole feeling like the way you'd play a song. Some days you play a song and maybe your finger's a little rusty or your voice is a little sore and it sounds different this day than the others. And that's fine. So we do play Tai Chi. It gives it more of an intention rather than, I got to learn and be perfect. And, you're just going to play it. And I pretty much, live and play on Instagram, to be honest with you. It was a platform that I had my sights set on. And so I'm at Regeneration TaiChi, all one word, on Instagram. And I really do love meeting people. And I'm always in the direct messages with people and just interacting there. And I, of course, have my website, regenerationtaichi.com as well. So that's pretty much where I live, on Instagram, and have fun just meeting people all over the world. Love it so much. Yeah, it's fun.
There are many people who tune into you there. That is such a gift that you just offer that so freely for the world. So be sure to check him out. And couples that are wanting to, start to cultivate these practices, are there any simple Tai Chi or Qigong practices that couples could even do together to help them relax, to soften, to go with the flow, to set their intent? And anything you want to share that is a little practical, hands-on thing?
Let me think. For couples, something interesting is to, you can, if you put your hand up against your couple without touching. So if you're just going palm to palm, and let's say with your partner, and without touching their palm, so don't give them a high five, but you just put that hand maybe 2 inches away, and you both start to circle in the same direction, like little circles. Just make like little spirals together. Immediately, you will feel a connection without touching. You will feel something emanating from your hand, like magnets. And that is your chi. That is the life force that can't be seen, but can certainly be felt. It will take 10 seconds or less before you feel like you're two magnets moving in the same direction. And it just goes to show you the hands and the feet are energy gates where energy can go out of and energy can come into. And so it's just amazing to feel that, and just a fun little exercise to connect without quote unquote touching.
Ooh, I can't wait to try that with Brett later. So you just put your hands close together. You'll feel them start to go in a circular motion together and to kind of sync up. Yeah. I'm sure that syncs us up on a lot of levels, doing something so simple.
Yes, absolute connection, being present, 100%.
Jamie, it has been so amazing to get to connect with you. Do you have anything else that you want to share for anybody out there tuning in for their own lives and for their relationships?
I would just tell people that if you have an intention, getting back to the old word intention, whether it's to find love or to grow your love, then have that intention and make it a real practice for you, whether you keep that in a meditation or an affirmation or just in your heart. But keep it there, have it there, even if you're being tested. Right? Life is going to test you. It's just the way it is. But keep it there, and you will get what your intention is. And sometimes you have to wait a little bit for it. And sometimes you have to go through those tests. And as in the case of my wife and I, it did happen when I least expected it. I finally came to a place in my life where at 39, 40, I was decided that I was ready to settle down and stop wasting my time with what I was doing in relationships. And I had that intention. And so I stopped everything that I was doing that didn't align with finding a wife. And it took another 2 years for her to show up. And I was tested. And yet I just stayed, no, I don't want that. I want this. And then when I least expected it, there she was as I opened the door to a little concert venue where both of our friend was performing, and I saw her, and it was literally love at first sight. The second I opened the door, she was just there, and I was just like, what is this? I was like, what is this? I just knew, that's the way it goes. And it was, on a night where I was coming from work and my work closed, late, and I just ran in to support a friend, and there she was, and she showed up. And from then on, I was like, kind of like that scene in Wayne's World, she will be mine. And I wouldn't take no for an answer. And, it's been 8 years that we've been together now. Wonderful. So, but it all started with that intention and just sticking to it no matter what.
Oh, Jamie, that is a perfect thing to close on. Look at, when we live with intention, we can fall in love and find the person that our soul has been like longing to meet. So what a powerful invitation. And I have no doubt people tuning in have so much more inspiration about what intention they might want to set, and to really see what will unfold when we live with greater intention. It has been such a joy to get to connect with you and learn and grow with you. And I look forward to connecting. And please share, visit Jamie, tag both of us. Let us know what takeaways you have, what intentions you have, so we can celebrate them and lift them up with you. Thank you so much, Jamie, for all you do and for sharing with us. So incredibly grateful. And thank you to everyone for tuning in and for spreading more love in the world. So grateful, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate everyone listening as well. Thank you.
Sending so much love.
Want more support for your relationship, or want to become trained as a certified relationship coach to help other couples? We warmly welcome you to head on over to centerthrive.com. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you next time on the Thriving Relationship Show.